best horror film to release in 2001, 13 Ghosts by the debutante director Steve Beck is now getting remade into a series. But before we jump into what is sure to be a nail-biter, quite literally, it's best we recap on all we know about the show so far. So, stick around to find out everything we know about 13 Ghosts, the TV show. The TV reboot is brought to worldwide audiences by Dark Castle Entertainment, the same production house that was behind the original reboot in 2001. In fact, the 2001 13 Ghosts is actually a reboot of an original 13 Ghosts that was released in 1960. The original film was produced and directed by William Castle, and it was written by Rob White. The film starred the likes of Rosemary DeCamp, Margaret Hamilton, Charles Herbert, Martin Milner, Joe Morrow, John Vandroline, and Donald Woods. The movie revolves around the family of a man named Cyrus who receives a house from his uncle, Dr. Plato Zorba. Later, a lawyer comes and informs the family that the house comes with the various ghosts that Dr. Plato Zorba had collected from various parts of the world. And the catch was that they could not sell the house to anyone else as well, because if they didn't inherit it, the house would go to the state, and they wouldn't be receiving any compensation for it as well. Thus, left with no other option, Cyrus moves into the house with his wife Hilda and his daughter Medea and his son Buck. Obviously, the family initially thought that this was a joke, only to find out that this was actually the case, and the estate lawyer, Ben Rush, was in no way joking. The house was indeed occupied by 12 ghosts that Dr. Plato Zorba had collected. Additionally, the house was also accompanied by a very creepy housekeeper by the name of Elaine, who also conducted seances and had a hidden fortune somewhere in the property. The film then also becomes a search for the hidden fortune, which was an endeavor in which the lawyer and the estate executor took active part in, without the knowledge of the family. Eventually, Rush uses Buck, without the latter's knowledge, to search for the fortune, which Buck somehow ends up finding. And when he does, Rush secretly kidnaps Buck and plans to get rid of him. And it is revealed that it was Rush who had actually murdered Dr. Plato Zorba as well. Just as he was about to murder Buck, Zorba's ghost appears and murders Rush, before he can hurt his nephew's son, who wakes up when Rush died. Thus, Rush became the 13th ghost of the house. The 2001 reboot of the film, directed by Steve Beck and written by Neil Marshall Stevens, starring Tony Shalhoub, Ambath Davids, Matthew Lillard, Shannon Elizabeth, Alec Roberts, Rod Digga, and F. Murray Abraham, however, follows a different approach. According to the film, Cyrus and his friends were in a quest to capture a spirit named Juggernaut, during which Cyrus dies. The quest still remains successful. Cyrus's lawyer informs his nephew Arthur that he inherited the estate from Cyrus with the same conditions applicable as the original film. Arthur, who was financially unstable, moved into the house with his two children, Kathy and Bobby, and their nanny, Maggie. And whilst checking out the house, he unwittingly seals the house, which lets out the ghosts that his uncle had caught and trapped, and thus begins the story, which is an attempt to break free from the house. It also leads to various scenarios that make the lead characters put their lives at risk in order to escape from impending doom, brought to them by the lingering ghosts. Very recently, almost 22 years after the reboot was made, Dread Central announced Dark Castle Entertainment's plan to adapt the much-loved horror film into a series. While not a lot of details are available at this moment, a series of pitch deck images have appeared, including images of Dennis Rathkin's ghost-catching machine, much more insights into the twisted mind and psyche of Cyrus Kritikos, and multiple cryptic hints relating to the angry princess ghost's tragic past. All of these, as expected, have left the fans of the series in a frenzy, driving their curiosity to an all-time high. The pitch deck images also appear to have some key elements of the series that also appear in the concept art. The pitch deck images also pay homage to Kaneto Shindo's Onibaba, which can be compared directly to the proposed structure of the series. The show is planned to have 13 episodes, with each episode shedding light on the traumatic backstory and origin of a different ghost. The show creators also mentioned that they plan to have an ensemble cast for the project, and that they wish to introduce 13 ghosts to a whole new group of audience in the best and arguably the right way possible. Although not a lot of information is available regarding the show as of now, by the looks of it, it is guaranteed to be an amazing show, just by a single look at the crew of the series. Reports suggest that Patrick Mediate of the Primordial Pictures and Aaron McLean, who is famous for being the supervisor of special effects for Fear the Walking Dead, are said to be working in collaboration for the project. Adding to this, the co-producer of the show Fear the Walking Dead, Ashley Robinson, is also rumored to be involved in the TV show. Now, it's also important to keep in mind that the project has not officially received a green light, but the creators plan to pitch the series to Sony Pictures Television once the writers and actors strike that is currently going on in Hollywood comes to an end. As of now, news reports suggest that the show is planned and plotted out to have 13 episodes, with each episode focusing on a different ghost and their journey. The show is also said to draw inspiration from both the 1960 original movie by William Castle, as well as the remake of the film made in 2001, directed by Steve Beck. The creators also released a series description which seems to give a fascinating look into the vision that the creators have for the supernatural adventure they have in mind. The description is as follows. Every culture in the world has its ghost stories, and this reimagining of 13 Ghosts presents an international sampling of these supernatural tales. The ghost stories within each episode will have their own stylistic look and feel that will be explored and influenced by each individual director. This makes our ghost vignettes stand out stylistically as they set the theme for each episode. The show is also expected to create waves in the sense of being the first ever show in the history of TV shows to experiment with augmented reality. This would also take the genre of horror to a whole new realm, as using the augmented reality technology would surely increase the scare factor of the 13 Ghosts show. The proposed component of augmented reality would be accessible for audiences through an app, which would allow them to see additional ghosts not just on the screens but also in their homes. Such a technology is sure to immerse the audience into the genre of horror like never before. Adding to this, the creators also announced that prior to the release of the series, the reboot 13 Ghosts by Steve Beck would be made available in Blu-ray format. This new Blu-ray release would be brought to the audience by Scream Factory. 13 Ghosts as a film series has left audiences captivated for more than 6 decades now, right from the time the original film by William Castle was released. Steve Beck carried forward the legacy of the original film 40 years later in the year 2001 with his reboot. The TV show aims at carrying forward the same legacy, weaving in past, present, and future into the series, along with modern technology that is guaranteed to enhance the viewer's experience. And hey, who knows? Maybe the use of modern technology like augmented reality will give the story a whole new perspective, a dimension that was not known so far. Well, for now, that's all we know about the serialized version of the horror legend 13 Ghosts. How do you think the serialization of the classic will turn out? Do you think it will be able to adapt itself to the various technological additions that the makers of the show are planning to add? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates related to 13 Ghosts and other favorite entertainment updates. Also, click the bell icon for immediate notifications for when a new video is dropped. Until next time, goodbye!